Have you ever missed something that still exists? A love that ended, but the person is still alive. A dream you gave up on, but still echoes inside you. Who you used to be, before pain, trauma, or change. If so, you've already lived invisible grief. Because grief isn't only about death. It's about the loss of an expected future. The end of an identity. A love turned into memory. A belief that collapsed. And this kind of loss is rarely acknowledged. There's no funeral. No condolences. No one hands you flowers and says, "I'm so sorry for everything you've lost." But you feel it. And this pain, silent, invisible, is as real as any other. Today, we're going to talk about this. About the invisible griefs we carry without names. About how to honor them without freezing. And why, sometimes, the bravest thing you can do is simply say, "I miss it." Even if no one understands. Let's begin. What is grief, anyway? When we hear grief, we think of death. Funeral. Candles. Silence. Pain. But grief is actually an emotional response to loss. And loss doesn't have to be physical. It can be symbolic. Emotional. Existential. You can grieve when a relationship ends. You lose a job that defined your identity. You stop believing in something that once held you. You realize a dream won't come true. You move cities, change religions, leave a country. Or simply notice, "I'm not that person anymore." See, there was no death. But there was an ending. And where there's an ending, there's grief. And this is where many suffer in silence. Because they believe they don't deserve to hurt. But he's still alive. But I chose to leave. But it was better this way. Yes. But even so, you lost something real. And loss hurts. The invisible griefs no one sees. Let's name these losses. Grief for a love that ended, but the person still exists. You loved deeply. Now, you've moved on. But every time you hear a song, see a place, smell a scent, something inside tightens. This is grief. Not from death, from absence. Grief for a dream that never happened. Maybe you were meant to be an artist. An entrepreneur. A mother. An athlete. But life changed direction. Now, you miss a future that never existed. This is grief for a path not taken. Grief for a faith that collapsed. You believed in God, in the system, in justice, in love. Until something happened. And what once held your world vanished. Now, you live in emptiness. This is spiritual grief. Grief for a lost identity. You were a teacher. A business owner. A spouse. A healthy child. But you retired, failed, divorced, got sick. And now, you don't know who you are. This is grief for the version of yourself that's gone. Grief for a childhood that wasn't protected. Even as adults, we cry for that child who needed comfort but got criticism. Who wanted to trust but was betrayed. This grief comes late, but it's real. These people aren't weak. They are those who loved, believed, tried. And lost. Why does invisible grief hurt so much? Because it's not validated. At a funeral, everyone says, "Cry. It's normal. We're here." But when you cry over a broken relationship, someone says, "Just get over it. He's not worth it. There are so many better people out there." When you mourn a dream abandoned, you hear, "That was just fantasy. Better to quit early." And so, you learn. My pain doesn't count. Losing something intangible isn't a reason to suffer. And you start to deny your grief. But denial doesn't erase pain. It only pushes it inward. And it returns as anxiety. As emptiness. As insomnia. As anger with no target. The body remembers what the mind denies. How to allow grief without paralyzing. You don't need to get over it. You need to honor it. Getting over suggests you must forget. Honoring means it was real. It mattered. And I miss it. And that changes everything. Here are small rituals to help. Write a letter. To the love that's gone. To the dream that didn't happen. To the version of you that died. You don't need to send it. Just write it. Say, thank you for existing. I miss you. You made a difference. Light a candle. In a moment of silence. Say the name of what you've lost. Allow yourself to feel. Don't force healing. Just allow presence. Look at old photos. Not to suffer, but to recognize. That happened. I lived it. It mattered. Use symbolic objects. A piece of clothing, a journal, a place. Place them in a sacred space. Turn memory into ritual. Say it out loud. I miss it. Even if no one understands. Even if it seems silly. Words heal what silence buries. Grief is love with nowhere to go. In the end, all grief is this. Love that has nowhere left to go. It's not weakness. It's proof you loved. You gave yourself. You believed. And perhaps the bravest act is to admit. I still miss it. It still hurts. I still don't know who I am without it. And that's okay. Because you don't need to forget to move forward. You just need to honor. And move forward with an open heart. Even if it's wounded. Thank you for watching. Thank you for feeling. And thank you for not pretending you're fine. Because sometimes, the simple act of saying, I am grieving, is the first step back to living.